Hello again, it's Tanya with Tinkering in Ink with Tanya, and I'm back with another video. This time I'm doing a card featuring a theme of Pride. It was Pride Month in June, and my daughter called me last week and asked me if I had any Pride cards I could send to her to give to her, to people in her neighborhood to show her support. So I got to work. I actually have a few stamp sets that feature Pride as a topic or a theme, and I hadn't actually been able to ink them up yet. So I'm taking 3 colors of Distress Oxides and 3 colors of Hero Arts Reactive inks. I've got Festive Berries, Spiced Marmalade, Squeezed Lemonade, Green Apple, Splash, and Thistle. And I've got my blending brushes that I got off of Amazon, and I am blending away. I am having a little difficulty with the blue and the green because turns out they can have too much ink in them. After I finished making these cards, I went and rinsed those out well under the faucet and let them dry. It took a whole day for them to get dry, but they're nice and soft and pliable again now. So I'm using a 6x8 stencil from scrapbook.com called Scattered Hearts here. And this is my first attempt at a background. It's a 4¼ by 5½ inch panel. And the first time I went ahead and stenciled everything and then spritzed over the stencil with some pearlized water and ended up with some smeary stuff. Well, I still want the shimmer. So the second attempt, I spritzed it with pearlized water and then heat set it before I apply it to the back of the stencil. It's a little warped, so I had to be a little more careful when I put the washi tape on to get it stuck to the stencil. Now I could use pixie spray, but pixie spray and I are we're kind of having a breakup issue. Maybe not a breakup. I just need to figure out what I'm doing with it. I think I've been putting too much on or not waiting for it to dry. No, I think it's that I've been putting too much on. And it leaves a residue behind, and I don't like that. No likey. So until I get that figured out, I won't be using that very often anymore. I do like the pixie spray, and I didn't have problems with it at first. Maybe it's my second can that I'm having an issue with. I don't know. Anyway, back to the card. So I went ahead and stenciled over the pearlized water, and that turned out lovely. And I'm using some double-stitched frames from Katz Scrappiness, and these are the first ones I found that had a 4 by 5¼ inch die, which is the size I was in the most search of. So I was super happy to find that one. And I will link that in the description box below the video. And I am continuing with my obsession with stenciling on the inside of my cards. I love it. Stencils are super easy. They're very inexpensive. And you can use them in so many ways. So I've been adding them to the inside of my cards just with whatever ink is left on the brushes. I'm going to start, I think I'm assembling this card a little bit as we go. So I put a piece of coaster blank on the back of the front panel because I can't do a card without adding dimension. That's just, yeah, watch a few of my videos. You'll understand that. Putting it under a heavy block to make sure it's nice and flat. Remember, I sprayed that with pearlized water beforehand, so it was a little warped. The coaster blank will fix that completely. So now I'm going to make a solid rainbow sentiment block and then a banner. And I'm using the Festive Berries to do the red stripe for the rainbow. And then I've got the Spiced Marmalade. We're going to use the same colors again. Do I need to list them again? I mean, I can. But I already did once. And I'll have them all listed in the blog post that's accompanying this too. So here you see me struggle a little bit with the green and the blue. It just doesn't seem to want to let it go. It picks it up, but it doesn't want to let go of the ink. It's just simply so stiff from all of the ink in it that I just needed to clean it. I did try wiping it on a damp washcloth, and all that did was end up smearing lots of ink instead of blending. I did spray that panel with pearlized water again. Pearlized water, if you don't know what that is perfect pearls in the perfect pearl color in water. That's all. It adds a nice shimmer. I probably have to fill that spritzer, I don't know, a couple times a month. Okay, so now we're getting to the Pride stamp sets. This one is Full of Pride from Kindred Stamps. And we're going to use the big sentiment, love is love is love is love. And I'm going to stamp that a couple of times in VersaFine Onyx Black. Now this, if you're wondering what the heck I'm using there, what stamp positioner I'm using, it's a Stamparatus from Stampin' Up. I use this almost as often as I use my Misty. The downside of this particular stamp positioner is that you can push a little harder on the left side and get some smushing of your stamp, whereas the Misty has ledge all the way around. So you don't get that extra smushy, but it has other advantages. Anyway, it just happens to be what I pulled out to use this time. We've got some icicle embossing powder from Brutus Monroe that I used to emboss over that sentiment. And now I'm going to take another of these double-stitched frames dies from Katz Scrappiness and my little sidekick. My camera setup won't allow me to take this over to my Platinum. I have the full-size Platinum, which is my favorite die cutting machine. But this little sidekick is pretty awesome. It just sits on my desk, and if it's not bigger than 2.5 inches wide, then I can just use that. And I don't have to walk to the other end of my craft space. So then I'm going to take this banner, and you may notice there's you can see where the stamp hits the background or the page on the scrap paper I've got underneath it. So I just centered that in there, and we're going to stamp that a couple times. And where it's closest to the magnet, I had a little trouble getting that stamped the first time around. So then I'm going to take the icicle embossing powder again, and we'll emboss that quick. I love that saying, love equals hearts, not parts. Love it. Very appropriate. So we'll heat set that really quick. And then I'm going to pull out the Honeybee Sentiment Banners dies. They are all the same width, but the length is, there's a lot of different lengths, which is super convenient. That works for most single line sentiments. And there are a ton of those out there. Ran that quick through my sidekick again. And we'll put that away. Now I'm going to take some more coaster blanks. These are from my scrap drawer. And I'll just trim those down. And I've been using the Barely Art glue, precision glue, for a few weeks now, 2 or 3 weeks. And I'm really enjoying it. It sticks very well. It's thin enough that you can do fine line stuff. And it dries super fast and has a really strong hold. I really like it. Trimming down a little more coaster blank to add behind the little banner. And I'm trying to follow a sketch challenge, the Papercraft Crew sketch challenge. And I have to say sketches are a little challenging for me. It's hard to make my vision fit a sketch, but it is a good jumping point. It's a good way to get something going. Next, I am using the rainbow from the May 2020 My Monthly Hero Kit. It is a kit that focuses on envelope art and sunny days and once I started looking at it, I thought, wow, it really kind of fits the Pride theme too. Um, I love this rainbow. It has a coordinating die, which you'll see a little later. And it's got these cute little sparkles. It's just a happy, happy rainbow. It's got such a nice high arch with those cute little perky um, clouds underneath it. So now I am going to color it with my Copic markers. We're going to use R29 and R24 for the red, and I'll just use the darker colors, the darker tones of each color on the legs, so to speak, and the lighter parts on the arch. And then we're going to use Y13. Nope, I was supposed to use Y19 on the legs and Y13 on the arch. I hope you can see the ends sticking up out of that cup. That cup, by the way, is part of the dishes we got when we got married. So those are 30 years old. We got 3 sets of Corelle plates and bowls and cups when we got married. So that was what I think, what's that make? 12? 12 cups, 12 plates, 12 bowls, etc. The only thing we have left, we have 11 of the coffee mugs and 1 of the salad plates. Everything else has sadly bit the dust, but those cups, I swear, are indestructible. Indestructible. I'm sure the 1 cup that we're missing is just lost, not even broken. So those are what I let the grandkids use. And like I said, they're indestructible. So they cart them outside, they drop them on our concrete floor, which is what our main living space is, because it's a walk-in basement. I don't care how they use them because, again, indestructible. So I quickly colored those, the rainbow, and I'm also going to die cut it out of the coaster blank, which I am having a real struggle lining that die up on the coaster blank there. FYI, it was like midnight when I was putting this together. Keep in mind, I work the 5A to 5:30 shift, so I'm not normally up that late anymore. Yeah, not since I started working that shift, because, yeah, that's prime sleeping time. However, this was my first day off that I did this on, and I don't know. I just was determined to get these cards done. I think I made a set of 8 of them to send to my daughter, who lives about 4 hours away. And it was Friday night, and I needed to get them in the mailbox. Our mailman comes about 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning, so I had to get them done. I used some clear Wink of Stella to add some sparkle, and a Stardust Sakura jelly roll pen to add some sparkle and more intense sparkle to the little stars on the side there. I'm adding these panels to the card front, and because there's extra layer with that banner on top, I put a scrap of coaster board, coaster blank next to it when I put the heavy block on, so it would be a nice even pressure. Now I'm adding little snippets of the coaster blank to the back of the rainbow because I'm going to put it at the top of the banner there. And this is all to keep in the theme of the sketch that I'm following, the placement of this rainbow. And I'm having to, I think I should have put 1 more layer behind that. I think, but yeah, it's thick. That's 2 layers of coaster blank, which is thinner than, so 2 layers of the coaster blank is maybe the height of one of the regular sized dimensionals, foam tape dimensionals. So I'm sticking another chunk under there. Hey, I finally got myself a pokey tool. I think I have a couple of paper piercers. I don't honestly know where they are, but they're not the easiest and they're pretty sharp. Oh, here, is the next Pride stamp set that I have, and this one is by the Ink Road Stamps, and it is called Love Wins. It's got a lot of awesome sentiments. Both this and Full of Pride have some awesome sentiments. And this one says, oh, it takes courage to grow up and be, what does it say? I'm going to have to wait till the ink is on there because I don't remember exactly what it said. It was a pretty inspirational quote, though. There it goes. It takes courage to grow up and be who you really are. That's true. No matter what struggles you have, whether you are part of the I never get those initials right. But if you have a different sexual orientation than the mainstream, or you just don't, there's so many reasons to struggle with being who you truly are as an adult. But these cards are specifically about those who are of a not mainstream sexual orientation. I did decide to go ahead and stencil the envelope also. I mean, we're going to go all out. We might just as well really go all out. I'm still struggling a little bit with that brush, but you can see that it's doing a little better because I had tried to clean it and it was a little wet. And then after I stenciled the envelope, lo and behold, I put it on, or I stenciled it upside down. So we're just going to go with it, and I'm going to stamp a cute sentiment from the My Monthly Hero Kit that says, warning, this will make you smile. And there is the card and the envelope together. Super cute. So this is the first version of this. I, again, did make 8 of these. I did come up with a couple of other alternate designs, just very slightly changing the layout of the front. This one doesn't have a banner. This one I had smeared the stenciling, so I just went over the top of it. And there are all of those cards. I hope you like this video. Be sure to check out the rest of the spots and follow me. Check the description box below for the supplies used in this video, and come back again soon. I really appreciate every comment and every view, and I hope that you come back to see me soon. Bye-bye now.